What's going on, guys, and welcome to my top 10 favorite Batman villains. And this was requested by Zaid. And this was, again, another really good question of, like, what's my favorite top 10, like, Batman villains of all time. Kind of like the one with my Spider-Man villains video I did. But yet, this video was kind of easy for me because, like, I have I do like certain villains in Batman's world. Um, there are more than others, so this was actually pretty easier than it was for my Spider-Man one. But before I start, I just want to say that this is my personal favorites, my personal list. So I want to know what your guys is. I'll remind you at the end of the video. Just to tell me what your top 10 favorite Batman villains of all time is. But anyway, let's get into this. So, my number 10, and I'm probably going to get crucified by the Batman fans for this, but my number 10 is Joker. And I know a lot of you are like, why is he your number 10 instead of like your number 1, 2, or 3? Joker, I feel like, is used a lot these days, not just in comics, but more so in like movies and television. And there's so much Joker and there's so much Batman lately that it's like you kind of get Jokered out and Batmaned out. So it's like, you kind of want something a little bit more besides, Joker or, the standard ones you see. But of course, this list does feature a lot of characters that even basic Batman fans will know. But these are just again my personal favorites. But Joker, I've seen Joker so much lately in the Arkham games, in the movies and TV. It's like I need a break. But I do like Joker as a villain. He is a really good villain. He's probably like the best villain for Batman. A lot of people can argue that, but yeah, Joker has done terrible things. He's really been a problem for Batman. I'm just So let's move on to number 9, Hugo Strange, and part of me wanted to put this higher on the list. But Hugo Strange, he's just a smart guy, and I think one of the best, even in the Arkham City games or in the comics, like when he figures out the whole idea that he knows who Batman is, and it's really cool how how like you feel the level of tension when you read the comic or you watch the show or you play the game, and it's like that this guy knows that he's Bruce Wayne, and he could tell anyone anytime he wants and prove it. So it's really Hugo Strange as a villain is more of a tense villain, more of a tension building villain, which is why I like him. As a villain for Batman. And I was really glad when in the Arkham City game he was one of the villains in the game. So, yeah. So let's move on to my number 8 spot, which is Deathstroke. Now, Deathstroke is really good at martial arts like Batman. He's really smart, intelligent. He is a soldier. He is a soldier. He's really good at, he's a mercenary. Obviously, he takes jobs and stuff like that. He uses his swords, lethal weapons, and stuff like that. So he is a really formidable opponent for Batman, and which is why in Batman Arkham Origins, I was really glad. I was so satisfied with that boss fight in Arkham Origins with Deathstroke. A lot of people don't like Origins. I like Origins. I really love that boss fight. Probably one of the best. I could argue that it's probably one of the best boss fights in a Batman video game I have ever played. But yeah, it was really cool when I got to fight Deathstroke in Batman Arkham Origins. But yeah, Deathstroke is a very, very formidable opponent for Batman. and I remember watching the trailer for Arkham Origins, and then them just watching them two fight, with martial arts style. It was really cool. Plus, a lot of people have been hinting that we may get that in the Batman movie. I don't know if we will. We did see some, like a little, what is it, like a 10, 15-minute clip of Deathstroke, like walking out of this this plane or something. So it was really, really cool. I'm excited for that whenever that movie comes out. I heard it's coming out like 2019 or something like that. I'm not sure. It's probably around there, though. But yeah, I'm excited for that movie, and Deathstroke is a really, really, really formidable and good character for Batman to fight against. So number 7, Ra's al Ghul. Again, another formidable opponent. But, he's got the martial arts and everything, but depending on the iteration that you read or that you watch, if I remember correctly, the original Batman, he went around getting all of these different types of martial art training and stuff like that. He's basically learned all of these different type of fighting moves. But there have also been iterations of Batman where he learned all of his training from Ra's al Ghul, and I like that concept. Of the student versus the mentor type of thing. Even though Batman has basically himself become a mentor, to Robin and all his sidekicks and stuff like that. Plus, he's got the numbers. He's got like all these different, villains. I forgot. Why did I forget their name? The League of Assassins. Yeah, it was League Assassins, it was. I don't know why that escapes my mind a little bit at the moment, but Ra's al Ghul again is a formidable opponent, but he has the numbers, and that's pretty much why I put him a little bit higher than Deathstroke, because he's got the numbers. Number 6 is Talia Ghul. I'll be honest, I don't really see her a lot. There's only been a few movies and comics that I've watched or read, and she's not in. You don't really see her a lot, but you do see her enough to where you know that she is an important part of Batman's life. Obviously, because of the fact that they had a kid named Damian. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Damian, but he can be. But we're not talking about Damian. We're talking about Talia, Mike. I thought that it was kind of funny how Talia was, tricked him. Like, how do you do that? How do you, like? I don't know, because he's a guy, I guess. So I guess it was easy for her to trick him. But why did she have to drug him to like? She must have really wanted his kid. I'm telling you, man. Like that, just wow. I sometimes I'm blown away by how Batman Bruce didn't see that coming. It's hilarious. And I love how funny and awkward it is, because it's like, wait, he's like, I got a kid. Yeah. Because she drugged you, idiot. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny how she did that. But moving on to my number 6 spot, or no, my number 5 spot, excuse me, which is Poison Ivy. A lot of you are probably sensing a pattern here. Yeah, Poison Ivy is, there's nothing for me to really explain. She's just a hot flower. That there's nothing else for me to say. That's it. Let's move on to my number 4 spot, which is Harley Quinn. I will talk about Harley Quinn a bit. She has gone from a creation in the animated series to, becoming an important role in the comics, to eventually gain her own spin-offs and her own comics, and her becoming this strong, independent woman. And I love that. I like that. I like that she strayed away from the whole Joker thing, because Because for me it was kind of like one of the it was like you're gonna let this guy control you like a puppet sometimes, and like let him smack you, let him just smack you around and stuff like that. So I'm glad that Harley Quinn finally was able to get out of the shadow of the Joker and become her own character. And I'm pretty sure lately there hasn't been a lot of like movies or TV or comics where it's just Harley involving Batman fighting or whatever. But I remember the latest Batman and Harley Quinn movie, which I reviewed, and that movie was okay. But yeah, I do like that Harley Quinn is her own character and stuff now, and even back in the day, she was a problem for Batman. With her big ass hammer, always hitting people over the head and shit. So it was really cool. It's really cool though that she's progressing well as a character in the comics. Moving on to my number 3 is Catwoman, and yeah, there's nothing for me left to say, is there? All right, so I'm just gonna move on. My number 2 spot, which is Scarecrow. I picked Scarecrow because I remember during the animated series when we first saw Scarecrow and how Scarecrow was playing games with him, and he was able to just get into his mind and just scare him, get him to almost break. And I really love that part in the animated series when he's like hanging off of this. I don't know if it was like a blimp or like a plane, and he like sees his father, telling him like, because he's imagining it because of the fear toxin. He sees his father, telling him that he's a failure and stuff, and he's like, "No, I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman." That was like that sent chills down my spine. That sent chills down my spine, just me saying that. Like, that was so powerful. And of course in the Arkham games, we see Scarecrow in not 1 but 2 games. We do get some cameos here and there in the second game, but yeah, I like Scarecrow because I like that he can psychologically damage Batman. And it's really cool and interesting to see how Batman can, pick himself up after that, and to stop Scarecrow whatever it takes, even if it psychologically damages him, which is what I really like about those type of stories. But anyway, let's move on to my final number 1 spot, and this one might surprise you, and this one you might have already guessed. It's Wonder Woman. I'm just kidding. It's not Wonder Woman. It's not Wonder Woman. I'm kidding. It's but in all honesty, Wonder Woman. Batman and Wonder Woman can have a staring contest, and Batman will blink. I'm not even kidding. But anyway, for real this time, my number 1 is Bane. I remember watching the Batman shows. It's actually one of my favorite Batman shows. I grew up on that. So that's why I always preferred a younger Batman, is because I grew up on, the Batman TV show. I think it went to 5 seasons? Really good series. I like a Batman who's more humanoid, human, who makes mistakes, who, is not always able to just calculate or able to figure out everything. I like a Batman who, is human, who makes mistakes, because when you get to older Batman, when you get to a Batman who is older and who knows what he's doing, and he's so smart that he can just, do everything, it kind of, suspends you have to suspend your disbelief a bit, because it's come on, you have to make a mistake sometime. I mean, that's human. But that's why I prefer younger Batman. But the reason why I brought this up is because when I watched the episode of Bane in it, even in the Arkham Origin story, or even the Dark Knight Rises, where Bane is more of a physical challenge for Batman. Now, you could argue that for Deathstroke and for, any other character who's got super strength or superpowers. But Bane is the type of Bane broke his back, like in the comics and everything. Like, I remember, you remember A Long Halloween where he just, stressed Batman out with all these crimes to the point where he was just tired and he couldn't even fight, and then he just broke his back. Like, I think, like, and in the Batman series, I love when he makes, like, the giant robot suit to fight him because he's got to get physical with him. Even though the older, smarter Batman, which I agree, this would be the smart thing to do, just cut his cords and be done with it. The Venom cords, but which is funny sometimes because, there are moments in, like, where you just cut the cords and he just falls over and he's out cold. But Bane is my number one because Bane was the first time I physically saw Batman get pummeled. Like, the first time I saw him just get broken. And it was, like, shocking when you see a villain be able to defeat the hero, and then the hero coming back to stop the villain. They did that same story with The Dark Knight Rises. They did that same story and concept with the Batman TV show. They didn't do that with Origins, but they kind of did. But I like the Bane because it was the first villain who, beat him up physically and just damn near killed him. And he had to, get hospitalized, he had to heal up, and then he had to go beat Bane. He had to find a way to beat him, and that's what I like, is the whole idea of mind over muscle, because I'm not a huge dude, but, like, I do, I do go to the gym and stuff, but I'm not a huge dude, but I end up using both my muscle and my mind, which Batman does too, of course. But with Bane, he has to use his mind more than his muscle, and but mostly the whole concept of him getting beaten and then having to return to beat the bad guy. You get what I mean. That whole concept and that whole idea I like, which is why I like Bane as a character, and which is why I like it when he fights Bane, because I feel like he can be a real challenge for Batman, and probably one of the most challenging, especially if it's more than just Bane. But anyway, guys, that was a long-winded explanation for why that was my top 10 list. But let me know what you guys think. What is your top 10 favorite Batman villains? Let me know in the comments. And until then, guys, I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.